What is going on, everybody? Welcome to this video. So this is going to be our first video in our nutrition and supplementation series that we're going to be doing here on the channel. In this video, we're just going to get super basic into 4 of the most common supplements that you might run into in the supplement store, in the gym, hear about from other people. We're going to talk about 3 big points about each one. So first off, what is it? What does it do, and how can it help you?
All right, first up, we're gonna have our most popular supplement. That's gonna be protein. So what is protein? Protein is basically the building block for muscles. So it can aid in muscle growth after strength training. And one thing to keep in mind is supplementing it can help fill the gaps in your diet, because obviously you can consume protein in multiple different ways, but a lot of times you're not able to consume enough protein to help benefit you the most. So protein supplement is going to help with that. And one thing to keep in mind is there are a lot of different kinds of protein, and Logan's going to go into that real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So probably the most common is going to be a whey protein, which I'm sure you guys have heard about. And all that is the protein is coming from milk. So if you are sensitive to lactose or you're lactose intolerant, might want to steer clear of that just to stay away from having an upset stomach. So because of that, there's a ton of other different options out there. This guy right here is going to be an animal-based protein. So the protein in this is going to be coming from meat sources like chicken, egg, and beef. And then this is going to be a vegan protein. So most popular vegan proteins is going to be like a pea isolate. So there's a ton of different options out there to kind of find what works best for you, your preferences, your goals, and any dietary restrictions that you might have.
All right, next up we have creatine. So what is creatine? Basically, it's going to be energy on the molecular level that your body can use. It aids in the ATP process, which we all know what ATP is. We should have learned about it at some point in our lives. It can also be found in protein-rich foods, such as meat and fish. But unfortunately, you'd have to eat a lot of meat and fish if you want to get the amount that you need for your training. So using a supplement of creatine is a really inexpensive way to increase your intake. It can do things like aiding in muscle recovery and building, and then it can also shorten your recovery time. Yeah,
absolutely. So just kind of want to dive in a little bit more into kind of what creatine can do for you and why you would want to take it. So studies have shown, research they've done has proven that creatine is most effective to improve your strength and power. So if you're an athlete looking for explosiveness, like a weightlifter, certain sports, even sprinting, would benefit from creatine supplementation. Not so much if you're an endurance athlete. And kind of like what Sydney said, it is something that's found naturally in foods that we consume, but an effective dose is around 3 to 5 grams of creatine. So that's kind of where supplementing it can come in handy. And there's a lot of kind of myths and rumors out there revolving around creatine, and it is a fairly safe supplement, pretty much just as safe as a protein powder, and your body's really never going to build up a tolerance to it either.
All right, next up we have caffeine, which, as I'm sure most of you know, it is a stimulant. And you can get caffeine in very different ways. You can get it in coffee, caffeine pills, pre-workout, energy drinks, kind of whichever one works best for you. Studies have shown that it can increase your performance because it does increase your heart rate. So you can get a bigger muscular pump when you're working out. You'll sweat more for sure, and you'll become more alert. But one thing to keep in mind is that you can build a tolerance to caffeine. So as you're adding it in as a supplement, just kind of gauge how your body reacts to it and go from there.
All right, lastly, we have EAAs, or essential amino acids. So what these guys are, there are 9 essential amino acids in our body that we cannot produce ourselves, so we have to consume them through food, drink, or through supplementation. So these guys are really important because they're going to be the building blocks of a lot of really important stuff that goes on in our body. So we got to make sure that we get these in so that we can be healthy. I'm sure you guys have heard of BCAAs, or branched chain amino acids. So that supplement is only 3 of the 9 essential. And they're just called branched chain because of their molecular structure. So essential amino acids are going to include all 9 going to be a little bit more inclusive and efficient with what we're going to be supplementing into our body. And Sydney's going to talk a little bit about what these can do for us and how they're going to benefit our workouts.
Yeah, exactly. So there's kind of 2 different ways to look at it and 2 different ways to use these supplements. So if you choose to supplement EAAs prior to your workout, it's kind of going to aid in putting off that muscular breakdown that's going to occur. So you might have an increased stamina while you're working out, versus if you supplement them after your workout, it'll more so aid in muscle recovery and kind of help you in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's pretty much it for this first video on supplements. So if there was anything that we talked about that you guys have questions about or want a more in-depth video, feel free to leave that in the comment section below, and we'd be more than happy to make an in-depth video on any of these supplements going forward, getting into the kind of the sciencey side a little bit more. And then to kind of wrap up, I want to end with kind of a public service announcement or a disclaimer here at the end, that supplements are called supplements because they should only be added in to supplement healthy habits with our diet and exercise that we already have. So it shouldn't be the first thing we turn to. They should be a tool to help us keep progressing. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind as you're looking at different supplements and taking into consideration everything we said today.
So be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and you'll be able to see more videos soon.